Okay, I think I finally got this up. Good morning, guys. Oh man, you would imagine after doing this for 2.5 weeks, you'd have this down. Apparently, it couldn't find my webcam, and then it posted to my personal feed. So, man, to all my family who watched the New Minds broadcast, thank you, and gave me a good love and thumbs up. Let me switch over here. So here we are, the guy who's supposed to start your day, and man, it's going to be one of those kind of days, huh? I like it. So, my name is Justin. I'm here with New Minds Enrichment, and it is just incredible to have a chance to speak with you again. Hey, Janet, good morning. See you joined in. So I want to start by saying a huge thank you to everyone that reached out with all the positive comments from yesterday's talk. Yesterday's talk, if you haven't checked it out, I'll give you a quick debrief, but do watch it. It talks about how we assume a lot of things, especially when dealing with other people, and that I asked you to take a pause and do the challenge of presuming, which is what is the most likely reason, the most probable reason that someone's acting a certain way. So that was the challenge yesterday. Man, and I'm just going to say this. It is clear from all the feedback and all the conversations that you guys are out there. You're just working so hard. You're doing your absolute best. You're juggling, life in the crisis. You're juggling being a parent, teaching, work, all those things mixed together. So wherever you're at in your walk of life, I hope that this time together in the morning, or whenever you get a chance to watch it, I hope this time is great for you and pours into you. So again, a huge thank you with that. And if you listened, I also did a little bit of presuming positive intent. I just love to do it, which is I know you guys are out there working so hard. So try it. Continue that challenge today of assuming, right? Presuming the best of others. So, hey, I see that Doug joined in. Morning, Doug. Okay, so let me jump into today's and talk about it just for a little bit. I was really, really inspired. Actually, I had a talk kind of planned for today, but I was so inspired by Ben's talk at the end of the day yesterday. So if you don't know, newminds.tv, we put out episodes on the hour, every hour from 8 to 5. And Ben Koch, our CEO, he ends the day at 5 o'clock with just amazing life hacks and tips for living. He's talked about Ikigai. He's talked about, yesterday was the Pareto Principle. So if you get a chance, check it out. It's episode 11 in the day. He dropped yesterday. But yeah, the reason it took my talk and pushed it aside, the reason I was so inspired by it, is because he talked about the Pareto Principle and how it applies to parenting. Try saying that 6 times fast. The Pareto Principle and how it applies to parenting. Mr. Popper's Penguins. So let me see if I can unpack a little bit, because there's something that I really wanted to add to what he talked about for parents. And this just comes from my own life of being at home with my own kids and figuring out how to juggle work and all those obligations, mistakes that I've made along the way as well. So a quick debrief. I'm not going to do as great a job as Ben did in his talk, but a quick debrief is that the Pareto Principle is let's say you have 100% of your effort over here. These are all the things that you do and pour yourself into all day. And then over here you have 100% of all of the results, the things that happen through the day. Now the Pareto Principle says, man, of all this 100% of effort, probably about 20% of that is really the stuff that is important. We spin our wheels a whole lot. We all do. We know that. But yeah, so 80% of it is non-essential, but that 20% of your effort that is essential is actually the same 20% that impacts 80% of your important results. So 20% of actually focused effort dictates 80% of the actual real meaningful results. And so he did an amazing job. I wrote some notes down here. He talked about, so when you're thinking about that as a parent and all the things you have to juggle with homeschool and all these kind of things, I've got worksheets I got to turn in. The kids got to be online at a certain time. They have to do their assignments. At the same time, I also have to feed them and have lunch. Hey, morning, Sheila. We're talking a little bit about Ben's talk from yesterday, if you didn't get a chance, about the Pareto Principle. So all these things that you have to do, you have to ask yourself, what has given you the results that you wanted? And he did a great job. He said, for example, which tasks did you do that got you closer to your goal? Which ones were unnecessary? Which provided you with a sense of accomplishment? And then which of the tasks that you have on your plate are truly important to the teacher, right? The one who's making the assignments on the other end as well at the school. So, man, and so to wrap up what Ben said, he ended one of his third slides, and again, I'm not doing as good a job as he did in his long talk, but it was yesterday's episode 11 for In the Day. And he ends the day with this last slide that says, write down your 5 to 7 tasks for the day. And then, using that Pareto Principle, ask yourself if there were 2 of them that you could really focus your energy and your coaching and your resources on, really accomplish, which 2 would those be? Because again, back to that whole philosophy, if this is 100% of your effort, then 20% of it is what's really going to drive 80% of your impactful and meaningful results. So I love that part. Now, I'm not just trying to give you a gloss of yesterday's talk. The thing that occurred to me that inspired me to come and add into what Ben was saying was this question of which tasks drive you closer to your goal? Which tasks are unnecessary to get you towards your goal? So the struggle that I've been having over the past week or so as we're trying to find our new normal and what that looks like, and I know you're all in the same boat trying to figure out what this new normal looks like, the struggle for me has been, what is that goal? So I love setting goals for myself. I love both goals that involve like work or productivity, also exercise, setting these little goals along the way. And over the years, I've had a chance to work with a lot of amazing coaches, amazing mentors, people who have really poured into me and have just been so impactful in my life. And then people that don't even know my name, right? Like some of the greats that are out there that you follow, the Dave Aspreys and the and people that give coaching advices like that, coaching advice. So based on, I'll call those the gurus, right? So based on personal coaches that I've worked with and friends that I just think are so amazing and really just seem to have a good work-life balance. And then also based on the words of the gurus, it really gave me a chance to learn and practice goal refinement. So this is where I want to come to it at. So once again, hey Walter, see you joined us here. Once again, what we've been talking about is that Ben talked about the Pareto Principle, and it's the question of what efforts are you putting in that get you closer towards your goal? Well, if you're stuck in the struggle bus with me here, it's like, what is the new normal and what is my new goal in this new normal? Okay, so poof, this epiphany came. Apply some of those goal refinement strategies in order to figure out what efforts actually truly are important. So I'm going to give them to you. There are 5. And I'll try to talk them through just as a living example, but I want you to kind of think and reflect on how these could work for yourself. Okay, so once again, you've looked at these tasks that you have to do today, and where the kids have to do, or things you have to take care of, and there's about 5 or 7 things on there. Some of you, maybe there's 500 or 700 things, but you've got 5 to 7 boiled down, and you say, if I can only focus on 2, right? Which of these tasks are driving me closer to my goal, and which ones are not? Okay, so goal. What is your goal? All right, here are the 5 refining questions. First one, what do you actually want? So no, there's not a blip in the audio. I just want you to think about that for a second. What do you actually want? Here's a living example. So we have worksheets the kids have to do, right? And we have online assignments the kids have to do. So my goal is to make sure that the kids finish their daily assignments. Okay, so that's what I've put down for my goal. But now I got to step back and I've got to really refine this goal and ask myself, what do I really want? Okay, I want my kids to actually learn through the process. I want my kids to engage with the education process. I want them to be able to connect with some of the other students in the classroom. I want them to truly learn, not just, check the box, you're done. Oh my gosh. So suddenly that first refinement question, which is what do you actually want? Suddenly that refinement question took my goal of, my goal is to have them finish these worksheets. It took that goal and slapped it and said, no, that's not a goal. That's a task. And guess what? Back to that Pareto Principle. You're going to apply 80% of your effort to get those stinking worksheets done. And even when they're done, did the kid even learn anything? So I'm not poo-pooing worksheets. I'm just telling you a very real living example that I'm going through right now. So if what I really want is my kid to be able to learn and to be engaged with learning, then I've got to start with that. Now my next question, I'm refining the goal, So now my next question becomes, why? What is the benefit Okay, so once again, why do I want this to be accomplished? Okay, oh my gosh, okay, so it's not about worksheets anymore. Now it's about wanting them to be engaged with the learning. Why do I want that? Is it something that I've superimposed on them? Is it something that I believe? Why do I want them to be engaged with the learning? I'm stalling. I have my answers, but I want you to kind of percolate and think through your processes as well. Okay, so why do I want this for my own kids? The way that I've answered it is that I want them to become lifelong learners, and I'm not just throwing that out as a buzzword. I want them to, like, as they grow up, to begin to continue to ask questions and to continue to, I don't want to say be skeptics, but be healthy skeptics, right? Where they're able to question things and research and find out answers, and then ultimately have more questions that lead to, more skepticism and more research. So yeah, really, the benefit for them being engaged with their learning is that I want my kids to be, healthy, lifelong learners. Okay, so now my goal is definitely moving in a different direction. Before, I thought my goal was to have them finish worksheets, but just by applying a couple questions here, I've now moved into lifelong learners. Okay, next question. And I love this one. I mentioned earlier all the gurus. This one is from Tony Robbins. And it was something that I had never thought of. I heard this probably, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. But it's this question. What is the pain if this thing doesn't happen? Literally, what is the pain if this thing doesn't happen? And now he gives a really, really great way to unpack this, but I'll just talk it out for a little bit. So you have the worksheets in front of you, and now it's like I want them to be engaged learners. I want them to be, lifelong learners. But what's the pain if they don't do that? Oh my gosh. Well, just with the worksheets or just for today, I don't know there's any immediate pain. And that's where Tony Robbins' hint comes in. He says, project in the future. So you have these carrots out there, to use the metaphor. You have these carrots, these things that you're chasing down, right? But then behind you have like the demotivating motivator, right? He calls it the sticks. You got the carrot and the stick. So something behind you being like, if you do not do this goal, something has to be bad, right? Something has to be painful. So for myself, I thought about it. I'm like, well, I could say all day that right now, if they don't finish these worksheets, it's not the end of the world. Or if they're not lifelong learners, it's not the end of the world. I suppose right now, project out 3 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. So, man, that puts my kids heading off into college now. Whoa, what an amazing world to put yourself inside of. So, man, it might sound like I'm putting a lot of weight on this one part about like worksheets, but what I'm really asking myself is if I'm not curating the kids to be lifelong learners, then the pain could be, now for me I could fill in so many answers. They won't take advanced classes because the challenge is too difficult. They'll shy away from putting themselves out there and trying something new, like performing in the talent show or something, because they're too scared of failing. Because it's always been just that they do something and it happens and it works and they keep going. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think as they head into college, they'll probably hit like a huge wall. Their whole life, they've just always been like, here's my worksheet, I take care of the worksheet, I move on. And so then suddenly when they're asked to do things that are, are truly open-ended and have no immediate right answer, but multiple varieties of quality of answers, suddenly that whole paradigm shift will be too much for them. Okay, so I'm just going to pause there. Obviously, I could do this all day, but let me just recap. So, all right, so I'm thinking to myself, it's not about this worksheet. Mr. Ben, we call him Mr. Ben, sorry. Mr. Ben yesterday asked, are the things that we're doing leading towards the goal? And so I'm asking, what is the goal? So here's a quick questions for how to refine these goals. So you say, what do you truly want? I thought my goal was just worksheets. What I truly want is actually my kids to be engaged with learning. Why? Oh, because I want them to benefit, and I want them to be lifelong learners, and I want them to be healthy skeptics and to continue to question. What's the pain if they don't do that? man, I feel really that they'll be okay in life, but I think they're going to hit a lot of walls and a lot of obstacles, and that's really going to hold them back. And the next question is, how will you know when you have what you want? I'll say that again. How will you know when you have what you want? Oh my gosh. So it was easy to say I have some worksheets, check the box, you're done with the worksheets. But it's not so easy to say, how will I know if I've got engaged learners? This has now become my new goal, right? Engaged learners who question. So how will you know when you have what you want? Oh goodness, I want my kids to walk away from the assignments and then say, man, Dad, I've got more questions. If they do that, if they have more ideas, then that's where I know that we're in the right track. So, okay, and the very last question, I'll let you go. I know I've been going for a while here, is what is the necessary attitude you have to have in order to make this happen? So, what do you want? What do you truly want, right? That helps refine the goal. Why do you want it? What if it doesn't happen? What is the pain? How will you know when you do have it? So again, for me, as my kids are asking their own questions, they're exploring their own things. They want to suddenly watch their own documentaries because they're curious and they're curating and they're picking stuff on their own. That's an engaged learner, right? They're asking me questions with discernment. And then finally, what necessary attitude do I have to have in order to get there? Well, I certainly can't have the attitude of do this worksheet or I'm punishing you. Think about that for a second. If my only goal was to finish the worksheet, then my attitude revolved all around that. Make sure that you have that worksheet done. There's no tech time for you. Now, suddenly just by refining my goal, it became much more broad and much more encompassing. And so now my necessary attitude needs to be, oh my gosh, if I really want them to have discernment and asking these open-ended questions, then I need to be asking them questions like what if questions and can you tell me more or explain that to me. Dad, I'm stuck on this worksheet. Oh, yeah? Oh, okay. What are you stuck with? Tell me more about that. How'd you get stuck? All right. Tell me about this answer. How did you get this answer? Okay. Guys, I'm going to wrap up the moment of inspiration there. Again, a huge thank you for the comments yesterday. Continue the challenge of pursuing positive intent. We're out there working hard. And as you're working hard towards a goal, maybe today is a great chance to take a second and ask yourself, what is your goal? And how are you refining that? So go through these steps, right? Refine that goal down. There's 5 steps inside there. I'll post them in the comments later too to help you out. And then, of course, stay tuned for today. Be thinking to yourself, man, if it really is important that my kid is engaged in learning, I hope that you can find that from these videos on newminds.tv. All the videos we record here are on newminds.tv, free, open access, easy to share, because, man, just all of them around the world, or STEAM Train, or STEM in Espanol, or STEM in Arabia. All of these are just Dungeon Verse. There's so many. Are just amazing ways for your kids to be engaged with real inspired learning. So I hope that you can tell from our hearts and our minds that this is real for us. We're inspired by it. We are a mission-driven company. We absolutely want to change the world and the way that we learn. And who knows, right? Who knows what's going to come out of what we're going through right now. But hopefully it'll be a new world full of inspiration, because we ask that you take this time to pursue what you're passionate about and cultivate your talents. All right, guys, this is Justin. Have an amazing day. Bye.